What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live episode of Dynasty Theory. I'm John Bauer. Find me on X at the Bauer Club. We got Dan Lamagna at Coach Dan Dynasty and Mitch Sorensen at Dino MC. Dan let us know earlier today. He said, "Guys, I want to do something a little bit different here. So we are giving Dan and Mitch. I might regret this after we let it go, but we're giving Dan 2 minutes here. He wanted to. Initially was 40 seconds, but I was like, we'll give him some leeway. He kind of wants to go through, talk about really quick, fast paced, his biggest takeaways from the week. And then we're going to get into the show. So, Dan, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Hey, 2-minute drill faster than Chris Berman. Here we roll. Hey, listeners, spend your fab on the Eagles Tank Bigsby this week. We just got ourselves an RB2 mid-season, so let your fab fly, okay? Tyrone Tracy, clearly better than Motor Devin Singletary pre, during, and post-Cam Skattebo. So if you could get Tyrone on the cheap, do it. Isaiah Pacheco, week to week with an MCL sprain, with Buffalo shootout coming up. Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith can gain a 1 to 2 week bump before we go back to a three-back fantasy headache. Tyler Shutt, Saints new starter. Rattler goes into my bucket of career good backup list. That's where he will stay. Tyler Shutt probably will eventually also. My money, though, now is on this is an audition to see who remains the number 2 quarterback in New Orleans. Draft Capital says it's Shuck before they draft someone. I think Rattler signs somewhere else in the offseason. I need therapy after watching Caleb Williams this past weekend. He's holding back Colston Loveland. I'm watching Loveland fly around. I think Bengals will help this week, but I'm throwing the red flag on Caleb. Falcons versus 1-6 Dolphins with Penix and London out was a train wreck. A red flag for me with Cousins. I would hold him onto him still until the trade deadline, and then we'll see what happens. Bijan isn't CMC yet when the weapons are gone. Red flag for that Falcons coaching staff. Schedule prep, 8 1 p.m. games with 4 teams on a bye this week. No London and standard or games in the morning or standard night games Sunday and Monday night. Jets will celebrate their lone win when get Garrett Wilson back when they return. I think Fields saved his jobs for now, and we're going to watch to see if the Jets are sellers with Breece Hall. Cleveland needs a bye. Could it be Shedeur Sanders time? I think it should be, and I would move a late second, maybe a third or fourth for Shedeur. Dylan Gabriel goes to that backup bucket. Hopefully Shedeur does not join him there. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, who could use a bye week and time to get healthy, both are going to be dangerous after the bye. And remaining bye weeks, 10, 11, 12, and 14. That's my 2-minute drill.
I was just about to cut you off. Pretty impressive. I threw the fast heartbeat in there.
That was good. I love that. I was like, oh, JB's onto me here.
There we go. Every once in a while I do appease these two, and I let them kick around these ideas.
I want to say something real quick on something what Dan said. Something I realized this weekend. I really want Justin Fields to do well. I just do. Like every time that dude gets on the mic, everything he says, I'm like, I cannot root against this guy anymore. So he's just one of the guys to where, he's a good dude. Things haven't worked out. He doesn't have the best accuracy. His decision making isn't great, but I just want him to win. I want him to get another contract. I want to see him being a starting QB in the NFL. Just everything that he brings is everything that you want in a franchise quarterback. Hopefully he could just piece everything together like what he did this week and keep it going. But I'm doing nothing but rooting from him from now on.
I like that you said that, and it tells me you're watching closely there, Mitch, because his interviews speak to his high character, and man, it's not easy when you got some millionaire out there, spewing stuff that hurts the locker room. And what Jets owner Woody Johnson, and even the Steelers liked him a year ago. JB, I don't think they were necessarily out on him. He ended up getting an opportunity with the Jets as the Steelers were kind of navigating through there. It's just, man, could he get some talent around him? And we'll see what direction it goes. But I'm with you, Mitch, man. He's a good dude and definitely rooting for him.
Speaking of navigating through some running back injuries, primarily the Cam Skattebo injury. So we have the dislocated ankle. He goes under surgery. I think he got a nice pizza and a cheesesteak there from what's the name of the dude on the sideline for the Eagles?
Big Dom.
Big Dom.
Big Dom. Yeah. But what we want to spend some time talking about tonight is, of course, the situation involving Cam Skattebo and how we're navigating through this situation, but also looking at it from a more overarching strategic perspective, because we've talked about this countless times. And typically, if we kick off an episode of Dynasty Theory talking about you, the previous week, for one reason or another, probably didn't shape up the way you were hoping. So unfortunately for Mr. Skattebo, we need to talk about the injury. We need to talk about the way we're going to work through this as a contender. If there's any opportunity as a rebuilding team, what we can do from an injury perspective with the running back position, because again, we've talked about it with Joe Burrow. We've talked about it with Malik Neighbors, but those, I don't want to say, well, no, they are the less volatile position, especially when you get up there higher up from a value perspective. So Mitch, Cam Skattebo, have you done anything personally on your rosters across the board?
I've sent some offers out. I didn't get a ton of replies today. I don't know if everyone in the world was busy or what was going on, but no, I want him on pretty much any team I could get him on. The one thing about Cam is he produced every single week he was on the field. He's out the rest of the season, but now it doesn't matter if the Giants do good or the Giants do bad. His value, I would be shocked if he's not a top 12 dynasty valued running back going into next season. It's all there. He catches, he runs. I think the dart hype is going to be there. Neighbors is coming back. People loved him to begin with. And now he's producing in a way that a lot of these hyped up backs haven't. So I think he just has that value to where I want him on my teams, because I know all offseason there will be multiple managers in every single league that want him on their team. Dan, you have a flag already, and I have no idea how you could disagree with anything I just said.
Well, I think JB will ultimately lead us there with his questions in the show notes. But as you mentioned him as a top 12 back next season,
easy.
I think that's got to be with a big asterisk after that injury there, because he's not coming back right away. That wasn't just your typical injury there, man. That was ugly.
It was just a dislocated ankle, right?
Ew, it went the other way, dude. Like that.
Well, yeah, but to me, I'm not a doctor, and we will find out more, but I would have to assume that's easier to come back than like an Achilles. And if he had an Achilles injury right now, he would be back probably at the start of the season. He will be back by I'll be shocked if he's not at the mini camps that happen in April after the rookies come in. Be shocked.
I mean, isn't there a difference if you're a contender or a rebuilder, or how you're building a dynasty team to determine whether he's top 12?
No, because you can look at the top 12 now. I mean, we have two rookies that are going to be coming in that will definitely be in that top 12 discussion. So maybe he's top 15, but he's at least there. He's going to be over Josh Jacobs. He's going to be over McCaffrey at that point. He's going to be closer to Barkley. I just think it's pretty easy to have him chunked in there, that RB15.
I might need to hear a little more.
I have so many thoughts here. First off, and I see it. Arzostikowski, Mitch, we got to work through it, but you're popping up the wazoo over there on that mic.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'll fix it.
I know. I was trying to throw the flag here for about 10 minutes, and I couldn't jump in.
That was more fun than my dialogue with Mitch. Is just the fact that you couldn't get a word in for 5 minutes. JB, good job, Mitch.
Say something,
I need
Mitch.
to do that more often.
You sound better, but it's quiet.
Gonna bet it's that. We're gonna be good now.
There we go. Rob Z. I certainly struggled through that name. I appreciate you though.
When this happens, guys, just throw it in the chat. Then I'll know. That helps. Thank you.
There we go. Well, I tried to talk for 25 minutes over here, Mitch.
Well, yeah, but we enjoy. Look, John, there's a point to where you're trying to get in the show, and Dan and I will do everything we can just to keep the conversation going, even if we keep just saying the same thing over and over and over.
I get it. So your thought is then are you investing in Cam Skattebo right now with the
100%.
thought of he's going to regain value, but like, is there the concern? Like, sure, we might get the offseason value bump here,
Mm-hmm.
but is there a concern from an actual production standpoint when the time comes?
No. Why would there be?
Take a little bit to get those legs under him, depending on the severity of the injury.
With the Halloween theme, it looked like The Exorcist.
He'll be
That
fine.
ankle
This is
spun around. I'd still
This dude is built different. I have absolutely no concerns, to be honest. I think there's going to be enough production. Look, every single rebuild team, if I could have Skattebo on it, that's who I want to have on my teams. Like, that is
Rebuild,
like the perfect
patient.
running back.
Rebuild, you could be patient. Even if he doesn't bounce back quickly next year, Mitch, you may not see prime Skattebo form until late next year or the season after. So I think rebuild was the key word there.
It's a great reason because we're all just being hypothetical here. We can act like what we know he's going to come back in September, but none of us do. So I will prefer to just go with the absolute meatball that will just run through anything. There was a skit that I saw on TikTok today. It was hilarious. It was about him just already being willing to play this week. And I'm like, that's exactly who he is. He'll be out there. I'm not worried.
I saw it. It was a scene sticking with the horror here because, Halloween is upon us, but it was the scene from Saw, and it showed them in the room whenever the one dude's cutting through his ankle, and they show the other guy. And it was like Jackson Dart watching Cam Skattebo do whatever he needs to get back on the field. Anyway, I don't think this is a bet I'm willing to make.
You are so risk adverse when it comes to these things.
But see, and Dan, I know you're okay. So Dan,
I win the
Dan
challenge.
hated.
I keep my timeout, Mitch. You lose a timeout.
So when I updated my
There's some
tiers,
bias coming in here.
When I updated my tiers post Cam Skattebo injury, obviously he was one of the biggest movers because of what happened. It was back-to-back responses. I had one person say, "Oh, so you're that low on Cam Skattebo." Very next person, "Seems like you're still pretty high on Cam Skattebo." But again, that is the interesting thing whenever you have a player, especially an injury at the running back position, the value shift is going to be so quick, so sudden, and it's going to be drastic in a lot of situations. I think a lot of people, if they have Cam Skattebo on their roster, Cody, Skattebo is, what is that? 16,389,210 times the athlete, everyone calling him a bum from their couch. I never said from an athletic perspective.
Here's the thing.
I'm sitting on a chair, not my couch. But hold on, I got derailed there. But you have the opportunity, if you're a contender. I've moved him straight up for DeAndre Swift so far. I've moved him straight up. I added 2/3 to get Chase Brown. In a 12x12 league, I moved Cam Skattebo for, and this one is going to be gross when you first hear it, but I moved him for J.K. Dobbins and Chuba Hubbard in a 12x12. These are all moves. These are all bets at the running back position. I don't think that's overblown whatsoever. I don't think it is.
I can see. I mean, if you're a contender and you're legitimately need help or need to replace Skattebo for points, for depth, you're going to win the title there. I think you're getting some backs that are going to help you this year, and hopefully, I think could hang on next year. JB, that'd be the only concern with some of those names, but hopefully they will. And I've been hard on Skattebo going into this year, but honestly, like, he is a smart back. Like, I could see why Mitch loves him. His work ethic's there. He's hard work. And I mean, this is a team. I gave 13 bad teams a couple weeks ago. This was a team that got some life in them, was able to figure some things out with Dart and Skattebo. So this is a big blow for that team. But it's just the injury that scares me, Mitch, man. Like, I don't want to be patient. So I could see where JB's being aggressive and trying to steer his dynasty teams in a good direction. But if you're a rebuilder, I can see why you'd buy him for that.
But again, if
I just looked up where John has him in his tiers. This is going to bring it back to you, John. I saw where you have him in your tiers. You have him with Bill. Bill's like not going to be a starting running back anytime soon. I will be shocked if he's anywhere close to valued where he is.
Forget Bill.
4 weeks
Forget
from
Bill.
now.
Yeah, it's a bigger drop.
Forget Bill. The running backs ahead of him in my tiers. Who are you taking him over?
Chase Brown.
No, get out of here. No.
Why?
Yeah, I think
but
I'm with.
I don't think. No, hold on, Dan. I don't see a way. I don't see him being effective and efficient from the jump in 2026. Like it's gonna be a tough injury.
Chase Brown's had one good week this whole season.
But that's because of his team.
Are we worried about the jump in 26 with him?
No, because I can get production right now.
You can't get value out of him if you're not on a rebuild team. I understand if you're contending and you want to move Skattebo for any of those. You have like Swift above him, Brown, Henderson, Henry. I completely get that. If you're on a contending team, you want to stay contending, you could get value out of Skattebo. I completely understand that. But if you're not contending, and there's a lot of contending teams out there, right? Adding a Chase Brown isn't going to change you from the 6th best team up to the 4th best team. It's just not. Skattebo was producing to the point to where he was helping you out so much as a contender. Losing him and adding Chase Brown, like you are a worse team by starting Chase Brown than what you were by starting Skattebo every single week. And so on a rebuild team,
yes, but things changed. His ankle flipped backwards.
In time, I think JB gave like the cutoff of when you talk about Chase Brown, J.K. Dobbins, those guys are at that threshold. DeAndre Swift, where Mitch, you don't want to have to start on your contender this year, Tootin or Charbonnet or Chubb, or like JB would be avoiding getting stuck there, where now he can still contend. Where Chase Brown with Joe Flacco is a different Chase Brown. There's a couple weeks here where he's scoring now. So I think JB gave the cutoff there, but maybe he could have got a little more, Mitch. I don't know, because I have seen like Skattebo going like for a first in the league. It was like Skattebo in a 4th for a 1st round pick. So, I don't know if you could have squeezed something there, JB. That would be my only comment. 3rd round pick or something.
That market, Mitch, you haven't got me this fired up in a long time. It's good to see after like 320 episodes, the passion is still there. I like it. I'm going to share my screen here in a sec. Let's get a window up. Let's get some Skattebo trades. Where's the floating? There we go. Okay. Oh, no. That's
the debates will continue with these trades. Javante's up there in that same, maybe a little bit better.
Javonte makes a lot of sense. I completely understand that one.
But now, is there really a big difference?
But these players aren't. Dan, hold on a second.
I'm supporting you, JB. I am supporting you.
I understand that, but you're making the assumption that all of these players are available in a given league. I'm going to wager in most situation, Javonte Williams is on a roster that somebody's relying on him.
Okay, which one of these? Okay, which trade do you want to talk about then, John? If I can't select the Javonte one, you tell me the one that you like.
No. The fact that you said, why didn't you go do that? He's not always available in the league.
That's fair. So which one of these leagues is available that we could talk about?
But isn't J.K. Dobbins like a point away, or like isn't he pretty close to Javonte Williams? Maybe I saw some stat today. Maybe it was just rushing yards. I don't know if it was total production.
J.K. He is getting touches. He's getting opportunities. But it's not just the production standpoint right now. It is the expectation of what we get in 26 and how that impacts Cam Skattebo's value moving forward. That's the big thing for me. So it's getting out now because I do think I can get some production from these guys, but also the fact that I think we're going to see that dip from Skattebo from the production standpoint, which then in fact will impact his value.
Do you know a running back that's had a dislocated ankle? That's pretty good now. I don't want to bring him up because it's more to your point because it took him a couple of years, but I blamed Denver for that. Javonte. He had that happen, just so you know. Trent
Wasn't
Richardson's
Javonte
on that list too.
knee injury too,
Trent
though?
Richardson.
He had a knee and a dislocated ankle. So I mean that's impressive.
Now that's the only thing
No
I'm
Sean
worried
Moreno?
about, Mitch, is how long I'd be willing to wait if I was a contender. You know, your point about Javonte Williams, he actually is scoring like 6 more points per game than J.K. Dobbins. You know, get more passing work there. But again, it does prevent JB. He has a good running back on a good team that should be there for a couple of years. I could see it.
Now, I will say, my 10 shares coming into yesterday or 2 days ago, 3 have now been moved. But the teams that I have him where I'm not contending, I've been a little less aggressive in trying to get something done. Because the players that I'd be getting, they're probably going to kind of hurt my max points for as well. So it kind of helps in those situations. Mitch, I see you have something. You have a little twinkle in your eye. What do you think?
I don't have anything. I was just waiting because we have Dynasty Daddy brought up behind you. I'm just wondering which trades we're going to talk about.
You should have a twinkle in your eye there, though, Mitch, because he did say in leagues that he is not as contending as much. He's a little less hesitant to move Skattebo. So that's in your favor.
This first one,
be.
I saw John in the chat. Nobody's giving Gibbs for that first trade. Somebody did.
Someone did.
And
Maybe
isn't that
it's
wild?
Skattebo or a family member.
They're the leagues we dream of.
So if you're listening and not watching, that trade we're mentioning here is Cam Skattebo, Fannin, and a 26 first for Jahmyr Gibbs. And it was 12 teams start 10 full PPR with an extra 0.75. Let's go 12 teams start 11 full PPR, no tight end premium. Cam Skattebo or Ingram and Jordan Mason. I'll take Cam Skattebo there. But here's the thing too, and especially within the DD Fantasy Football Discord community, you can see it is from a community perspective very quick to completely toss these guys aside once we have a season-ending injury. Is that a fair statement, Mitch?
Yes.
And there were comments in there like, oh, I'd move him for Jordan Mason. I'd move him for any of those running backs in that range. But Jordan Mason's not producing at this point. He's not giving you anything.
No.
Is there any? So, I think be selective in what you can move him for. Again, the trades that I made, I really like the Chase Brown trade. I like the DeAndre Swift trade. The other one probably forced it a little bit, but still, we'll see what J.K. Dobbins and Chuba can do. So, Dan, Skattebo or Ingram and Mason?
I'm with Cam there as well. Again, I think I could find a different Evan Ingram and Jordan Mason. The Vikings are just a little bit of a hot mess right now, so I have no interest there.
Cam Skattebo for Kamani Vidal and Travis Kelce. 12 teams start 10 full PPR, no tight end premium. Mitch?
Heavy contender. I'll go Vidal and Kelsey, but that would be the only case. I would need to be like one of the top 2 teams.
I want to challenge him again. So, Mitch, here's my thing. You're on the Cam train, right? And you're a contender. There's no tight end premium there. Like, don't we think Kelsey retires after this season and Vidal's just a rental? I think you would regret losing Skattebo. And that's where I said earlier where I thought JB gave like the threshold of Dobbins, those 3 running backs you named, Swift. I think once you dip below that, then you're better off just holding on to Cam.
I agree. It's just the heavy contender right now. We're 4 weeks away from fantasy playoffs, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And there's some leagues to where if that could secure you a bye, that's worth losing some value on Cam.
And Amari Hampton, apparently he's still in the boot.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be coming back soonish, which is crazy.
It's longer than we hoped for.
Here we go from the Discord. Dr. Harris, professional opinion, sell Scat. Let's see. Here, Mitch from Anahola. Where do you guys think Cam finishes next year as a running back? Top 20?
Top 20. Easy.
You can't put easy with that, Mitch. Not with that injury.
I can too.
Easy.
Because
Hey,
You were
if we
asking
come
a
back halfway through the season and running back is so bad that getting top 20 isn't bad. And if we're talking about points per game that we always talk about,
of
points
course.
per game wise, he could easily be top 20 next season.
No, I'm
think
going to be
between
pulling
20 and-
receipts here.
20 between 20 and 30, you lucked out. That's what I think for next year.
Mitch, I'm going to, like when you go to CVS and you get like a pack of gum, but that receipt
what do you-
is like so long that I'm going to be saving receipts on this one.
Well, when I'm at CVS, usually I'm not buying a pack of gum. Top 20 right now is what Travis Etienne is giving you 13 points a game. Yeah, I'm good with
I
that.
think that's overly optimistic.
I'm good with that. Look,
Oh.
I've
Cody,
always.
Cody says Hampton projected return week 13.
Oh Lord.
Come on, Amarian, let's go. Get back in there, baby.
Yep.
Sorry, Mitch.
No, you're good. You're good.
But
Here-
that's playoff weeks there. So if you're going for Vidal and Kelsey, now all of a sudden Hampton's back around week 13 and that starts dipping into that.
Mhm.
I'm a little nervous. Kansas City's humming though.
Dan
Yes.
from Nick here. Henry for Skattebo. Is that swap fair for a contender versus rebuild?
If you need that running back, it is. I think Baltimore's about to get on a burner right now with Lamar, and I think Henry, and they have a nice schedule. I think Henry's value is going to return. So contender only.
Agreed. Completely agree.
I'm wondering
You'll
if
be
you could
sad in 2
squeeze out
years,
more,
but
though.
if you're going for it,
I would
That's
like
your
to
kind
see
of
how
deal, Jason.
desperate that contender is at the running back position because Mitch, I like to charge that contender tax from time to time.
That you do. And I do it too. I really, really do.
Cam Skattebo or JJ McCarthy, 12-team start 10. No, Mitch, no.
I was waiting for Dan to answer because he's really hesitant on this one. So that's
No,
why I
I-
was laughing.
I'm laughing because of the state of the Vikings. I think I would rather like get a Joe Flacco rental and wait for Cam Skattebo to come back than to trade for JJ McCarthy. I'm really concerned, guys. Like he was that you saw it on social media, right? He hops over this guy on the sidelines on his bad ankle. He was better on that bad ankle than Wentz was in that game. Like those malpractice tweets that were going out there at Minnesota. I'm watching that game as a coach, guys, and I'm as competitive as anybody. Carson Wentz should not have been out there. So I feel like they are really at all costs. Carson Wentz's health, avoiding putting in McCarthy. I'm really nervous about that.
It's definitely McCarthy from the value perspective. I just don't want a share of him. That's the thing. I'm okay. If he's good, I'm fine not having any shares. It's not going to hurt me.
We got Derrick Henry in 27-second for Cam Skattebo and Rashid Shaheed. Very similar to what really the straight swap was looking at.
Yep. Agreed.
Then we got Cam for Javonte. I think we can all agree there.
Yeah,
I still
thoughts on
like
that.
this might be my trade here. Swift for Skattebo. I certainly would take Swift. Mitch, Skattebo or Montgomery in a 26-second full PPR.
Montgomery gets the second.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm taking Montgomery in the second. That's good value.
Sorry about that. Our beautiful faces. We're covering that.
You're good. You're good.
I saw a comment here. Here we go. Mitch from Ricky. Spears in a second for Skattebo.
Oh, Skattebo. I'm not a Spears guy at all.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Mitch. It's close. If it's a high second, I'm listening, but probably Cam.
I think even prior to him seeing the field in 26, there's going to be better cash out opportunities. And you're hoping a move like that. Yeah, you get the flexibility with the second and, you could make a secondary trade there. But you're really hoping that Tajay Spears does take over that backfield from Tony Pollard. And I still think it's just going to be a nuisance between the two of them.
It's a
I think
platoon
this
at
could be-
best, and that's the worst running back situation in the National Football League right now for fantasy football. Pollard's
Yeah, I
dead last in points per game.
Yeah, he's been a little frustrating. All right, let's see. Here, best ball. Aaron Jones and Evan Ingram or Skattebo. Let's assume 1.5 PPR for tight ends.
Still Dynasty, even if it's best ball. I want Cam.
I don't want those old guys if I don't have to.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's pull one more trade here.
So those
See,
old
like
guys
this,
are like points, JB, but they're not Dynasty assets. I don't think they're enough to help you win that money.
but again, we talked about Jordan Mason. That Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones situation is one of those guys going to. What'd you say, Dan?
This, one or the other, Jones or Mason.
I thought you said 6'7", to be honest
6'7",
with
I
you.
don't
That
know.
oh, get out of here.
That's
Outta
sneak
here.
one
I
of
saw
those
what was
in there.
happening there.
I saw the hand motion. I was like, I know what that shit is. Oh man. So the last trade to talk about, Cam Skattebo for the 26 second, which is on the screen. I think that is a case of somebody just saying, I got to get out from Skattebo now. And I think there are going to be better opportunities right there.
It's hitting the panic button.
Would you move Skattebo for Woody Plus? I tried it in our Ohio league. And
What was the plus? No one in there trades, so you'd have to add a pretty good plus on there for that to happen.
I offered my Skattebo for Woody Marks and a 27 second.
Well,
it
I'd rather
rejected.
Cam.
I'd accept that.
That 27 is going to be the time Cam's back to normal.
It was rejected. I think Woody Marks, he's going to continue to get more of an opportunity there. From GB, Chuba for Scat. Straight up
Scat.
I don't know if you
Rico's
missed it
taking
earlier.
over.
I had the opportunity and I made the move in a 12 by 12. I moved Skattebo and I left out Aiden O'Connell in that trade for Chuba Hubbard and J.K. Dobbins, and I felt comfortable with that. I saw the comment from John Paul Taylor of how gross that was, and I get that. I get that. Okay. Anything else on Cam Skattebo? Again, Mitch is far more optimistic. I'm very hesitant, and I think Dan certainly aligns with me a little bit more.
All I know is when someone in my Dynasty rosters gets injured in the future, I'm going to call Mitch because he's going to make me feel better.
A little bit.
We're going to talk about a few other players here, but
John
again,
did a good 30 minutes on Skattebo. It was good.
But again, whenever we have a player, especially producing at this level, it has an impact, right? It has an impact, and a lot of people, they have questions about it. But all right. Dynasty buy, B-U-I, or are we saying goodbye? All right. We are going to dig in a little bit more as time permits on these three guys. I picked three that are producing, where I think there is still a nice market on all three of them. One, you'll see, has had a meteoric rise over the last weeks. But we will dig in. It won't be rapid fire. Mitch, DeAndre Swift, Dynasty Daddy ranking, running back 23. He is producing, running back 12 per game. Yeah, I see the Swift jersey, even though you've had some not so nice things to say about DeAndre Swift in the past. But anyway, running back 12 per game at 15.9 points per game. Last 4 games, running back 9 at 19.4 points per game. He has been a bright spot in that Chicago offense. He's been working for them. Do you think it continues? And do you think this is a player based on his current price to acquire makes sense from what he's giving you from a production standpoint?
Current price, I still like him. I do. If I'm on a contender, I don't mind having him on my team. Is he going to be the first guy like in your tier that I'm going to go get? No, he's going to be one of the last guys in that tier just because I still don't think the Chicago's Bears offense is any good. I think what's helping him out is everyone can score. So they get to play catch up a little bit. He seems like he catches a lot of passes, but he's only averaging about 3 a game so far this season. And so I think that's propped up a little bit, but he's getting touchdowns. And that's the thing is they really don't have anyone else who is as good as him. So while I don't love him as a back, I think that offense is going to provide enough opportunity because of how bad the defense is that, yeah, I'm more than willing to buy him on contending rosters.
Dan, where are you on DeAndre Swift here?
No challenge flags for Mitchell there. I could see there's a scenario where you'd buy him. Hey, JB, you just gave an example earlier. There's a scenario where you saw Swift could buy your rosters. But I did hear Mitch say, he's the last guy in the tiers that he would go after. And I do think he fits that description of, hey, after I made offers to all 10 teams for their running back when I needed one and they all said no, all right, now I got to call that owner with Swift and see if I could work something out. So I'd say I'm a good buy in general because of kind of his role and track record. I think this is age 26 prime Swift. This is probably the best we're going to see because of his situation and his age. But I would probably rather sell him than buy him if the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, like before you like really hammer on the trades, like if I have to give up my 26 first, even if it's a late playoff first, there is no chance you're getting that for DeAndre Swift. That's just not gonna happen. So if that's his price point, I'm out. If I could, there's a lot of package deals here for Swift. That's where I'm more willing to attack him. I mean, if I can move an early second, by all means. If it's a late second, even better. I'll do that for Swift in about every scenario. But it's just if you're just saying straight up late first or Swift, I will keep the first in every single league.
He's one of those players that is teetering right on that edge. And I have him valued at that playoff first, but as we talk about oftentimes with the wide receivers in that range as well, I'm okay getting to that value. I want to get there in a different way though. Can I move a pair of seconds for Swift? I would still do that. And I think that could get it done in a lot of spots. And you can see the one trade on the screen centered around a 2026 first round pick, assuming playoff. You're getting Jalen Warren added in as well, who has been doing fine. And in a 12-team start 11, that package there, I definitely get it. But I would be interested to see what the price on just DeAndre Swift would have been and not having to give up that 2026 first. Let's see.
That trade scares me, JB, because I think we all envision, hey, that first round pick, that could be a star. Warren or Swift are never going to be a star.
Yep. Agreed.
I would absolutely love this trade. So
there we go.
For some reason, Jonathan Brooks and Tank Dell it's not for some reason. People want to sell you on, well, they're young and they're injured, but they're going to bounce back. There's no bouncing back for those guys. I'm sorry. But I don't want to say Brooks. The book has been written, but it's close to time to put that pen down on those two. The brutal injuries. And you look at Jonathan Brooks and Tank Dell. I'm getting a lot of offers in leagues where I'm not contending, and people are trying to make a move like this and offer me a Tank Dell, a third, and a fourth for Cortland Sutton. That was an offer I got, and that's didn't really work for me. But a DeAndre Swift for Jonathan Brooks in a 26 second, yes, please.
Agreed.
Let's see here. Brandon Ayuk in a second, 2027 second, or DeAndre Swift in a 26 third. 12 teams start 10 full PPR.
DeAndre Swift for me.
Yeah, I'll lean Swift, value the position.
DeAndre Swift or DJ Moore in a 28 fourth round pick. I like how they're like, you know what? I need 28 fourth is going to get the job done here.
That's definitely Swift. I could even argue my thoughts on Ayuk Swift. I mean, at some point, his practice window opens up this coming weekend. So his value is going to increase potentially in the near future, but DJ Moore in a future fourth is not enough.
I don't want to spend time on this, but I think now is a prime time to go out and acquire Ricky Pearsall at his current value. Pearsall.
Mm-hmm.
Pearsall.
You stay healthy, JB.
There you go. Yeah, I know, but there is that situation obviously where there is opportunity there. You're going to get Brock Purdy back. Ricky Pearsall has not been healthy. So I think people forget just how good he can be. So we'll see how that plays out. But I mentioned that as somebody that I would be looking to get done in a trade involving Xavier Worthy in the DD Fantasy Football Discord. Come check it out over at patreon.com/allgas. And make sure you hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Anahola says Ayuk is light years better than Ricky. Light years.
JB, I'll mention too, one comment in the chat there. This Geist LX says Swift regresses, finishes RB20 like he always does. You know, that's very possible. I mean, they had their bye week in week 5. There's no bye week the rest of the way. I think his stats will definitely get boosted versus the Bengals this weekend, but he's got some tougher defensive matchups down the road. And if things don't get better for the Bears, if Caleb can't take the pressure off of him, he could regress a bit.
DeAndre Swift for a second and third. DeAndre Swift for a second and fourth. DeAndre Swift for Leggett in a second. Jawan Jennings in a second. So there are opportunities to go out and acquire DeAndre Swift. And I saw somebody say it was Jeff buying Swift for ... Well, you can see it really doesn't take that much. So if you're in a situation, maybe you lost Cam Skattebo, but you believe in him still and you don't want to necessarily move him. Maybe you now have Pacheco week to week. Maybe you had a Chuba Hubbard that now his production is in question and you want to get a running back that can kind of fill that gap, fill that void from a production standpoint for your contender. DeAndre Swift is certainly somebody that you need to explore. Anything else on Swift?
You covered it, buddy. I see a nice, juicy wide receiver waiting next here.
Before we move on, I do want to just throw a few fun stats out. 6% explosive run rate. That's categorized as anything over 15 yards. He has 64% of the team's carries inside the 5, he being DeAndre Swift. His stuff rate is better than Jacobs, Henry, A-Chain, Hampton, Barkley, Walker, Chris McCaffrey, and Gibbs. Middle of the pack and missed tackles forced per attempt. Something that, like, this was interesting to me because you talk about the Chicago Bears offensive line a lot. 2.91 yards before contact per attempt. That is the 5th best, the 5th most yards before contact. So maybe it's just I would like to know what their 11 personnel is looking like. Maybe it's spread out for Swift, but he's getting almost 3 yards before he's touched. That certainly is going to help. Oh, man. Okay. Well, speaking of the wide receiver, Michael Pittman. Dan, I want to start with you. How are you looking at Michael Pittman here? He's wide receiver 26 on Dynasty Daddy, wide receiver 10 in points per game at 15.7. 50% of his games, at least 19 PPR points. 75% of his games so far at least 15 PPR points. And he's already tied his career high in receiving touchdowns. Does this continue? Does the Daniel Jones show go on? Does Michael Pittman help you bring home a fantasy football championship this year? Dan, you're on mute. Almost made it. Dan, you're
almost
on mute.
Made it. The Italian in me has somehow.
I know. It's always the
happens
Italian.
now and then. But so Michael Pittman, if I'm going to start 3 wide receiver situation, there's no sign there that things are going to slow down in Indianapolis. So I think he could definitely help you win a title if that's what you need to solidify your wide receiver position. So do I move a late first for him? I see a scenario where I could do that. I hope my rosters are strong enough and I don't have to, though, because my first instinct is to say goodbye, and I'd rather sell because he's age 28 and his past of, history of health issues. But he's definitely worthy of being bought and helping your team win. So again, roster dependent. If you need Michael Pittman to win, hey, and he's the best receiver you could get for that late first, go for it. But it comes with a little bit of reluctance.
It seems like there's a lot of hesitancy there coming over from Coach Dan. And I don't like
There
it.
is.
He's got the pedigree. He's got the genetics. I know you like that.
He's
Mitch,
aging.
what are your
He
thoughts
is
on Pittman?
aging. And Josh Downs is back, and Tyler Warren's a stud. What do you think, Mitch?
Josh Downs, it doesn't matter. That's what I think. I'm kind of lucky because I was not great, and before the 24 season, I got as much Pittman as I could possibly have, thinking he was going to be the guy. And then lo and behold, throughout that whole season and this offseason, nobody wanted Pittman, so I couldn't move him off my teams. So I kind of horribly lucked into having a lot of Pittman shares, which has worked out great for me this dynasty season. But like Dan said, the problem is when you look at him and the other guys that are, top 20, top 24 points per game wise in the NFL, he's kind of the one that I want the least, that I trust the least going throughout the rest of the year. I think he's going to give you that solid. He's pretty much averaging, I think, 5.5 catches and 50 yards a game right now, but he's giving you enough touchdowns to prop that up. To me, it's just, he's good, but is he going to be a difference maker down the stretch? I have a really hard time buying the price. I'm a little bit worried on what the price is, looking at the very top one that I see behind John right there. If it's anywhere close to a first, I'm not paying that to get him. I would much rather pay a first and add a little bit to get some other players. I mean, I'm more than happy to have a Chris Olave as much as I like having Michael Pittman on my team. And so if I have to add a little bit to get a Chris Olave who's not going to cost quite as much as what a Pittman does, I think that's what I would prefer to do.
Can I replay my exact thought with the DeAndre Swift conversation
Just
in
hit
terms
repeat.
of, yeah, that's his value. Can I get there with other assets?
Yep, exactly.
Can I even overpay with other assets?
Yep.
He's been extremely efficient, which obviously you look at that offense. Have they still scored every time they've touched the red zone? Either touchdown or field goal?
I would guess it's close. Yeah,
I think up until at least this past week they did. I don't know. I think it may have continued.
don't punt
Not doing a ton downfield. 8.3 average depth of target. But 46% of his team's touchdowns. That's sixth highest. He's getting the first read percentage over 26%. He is only behind JSN, Puka, Tyreek, and Amon-Ra St. Brown in terms of first downs per route run. 87% catchable target rate. Last 2 years, he was at 78%. So you're seeing almost a 10% increase, which, I mean, I was honestly shocked that he was even at 78% the last 2 years in that stat. So looking at Michael Pittman, getting through some of the trades, Mitch, you're a contender. Would you move your 26 first for him? 12 team start, 13 full PPR.
The one thing that I always have the hesitancy with wide receivers is moving that 26 first one because there's so many we could trade for. And so for me to move my 26 first, I have to be like confident. This guy is immediately helping out my roster. My team is better having him on than trading for a Christian Kirk, just to throw a name out there, right? Is he going to help me out so much and help me improve for me to trade that 26 first? I just don't feel like Pittman's that guy more so than, scrolling down, Cortland Sutton. I know I could get Cortland Sutton for well less than that. I'm okay having Cortland Sutton in my roster just as much as having Michael Pittman.
But again, the production, the at least 15 points per game in 75% of his games. At least 15 points in 75% of his games.
Yeah, no, he's been great. And that's the thing. It's nothing against him. I think he's been great. Do I believe it's going to continue down the rest of the way? Probably, because the Colts are a good team. Do I really want to pay that first to get Pittman, though? I can't do it.
Dan, you were extremely high on Matthew Golden. With what we've seen through 8 weeks, would you move Matthew Golden in a 27-second for Michael Pittman? I would.
Yeah, I think I have to. If I want to contend, I'm watching that Green Bay offense. Now Christian Watson comes back and even, dips into some of the share. Tucker Kraft's clearly their number one target. Again, I'm not out on Golden. I still like him, but if I could get Michael Pittman to help me contend, I'd be willing to move him.
Now, I do have a little bit of concern from the touchdown perspective. Am I saying that Indianapolis offense is just, it's like Cinderella at midnight and the glass slipper falls off? I'm not saying that, but I don't know if it continues at the rate that they're going. And to have almost 50% of his team's touchdowns in Michael Pittman, like that's significant. that is up there. So that is my only concern. Whereas we look at some other players, they're not necessarily propped up by the touchdown percentage of their respective fantasy points. But I didn't think I'd be the highest out of the three of us on Michael Pittman, but I might be.
JB, to support your touchdown, I think one thing to really put in perspective, and again, I think this Colts team is for real, but all those touchdowns he's been getting versus the Dolphins, versus the Titans twice, versus the Raiders, versus the Cardinals. There's a lot of weak opponents in there. You go and trade a first for him now. I think he'll do good the next couple of weeks versus Steelers and the Falcons. Then you get a bye week. But then when those weeks really count, it's the Chiefs, it's the Texans, Jaguars okay, Seahawks at Seattle. It gets a little bit tougher. And then you do get a healthy Josh Downs. I think Danny Dimes has got some other options too.
So I think the trades that we're seeing, there was enough out there that, again, we don't always have the entire pool of players available at our disposal. A la Javonte Williams, as discussed about 45 minutes ago or so, right, Mitch? But assuming Pittman is available, like there are prices on here that I'm more than happy to pay that we've been seeing across the board. But again, can we do something like we want to keep that first as long as possible throughout the season? It gives us that additional out and more flexibility and more ways to maneuver around our roster as more and more and more injuries pile up. And just when you think there can't be any more injuries, well, surprise, there's more injuries. So,
you know what the Dynasty Daddy software could use? If I could recommend this to a boy, because I love his software and his tools, and it's so helpful for us. But when I look at Michael Pittman for Jalen Hyatt in a second, that league's got to be like a charity league or $25 or less league, because there's no way in a high stakes league that someone's pulling that off. So that's all. That's my vent. I see that and I just want to cry.
Yeah, it is interesting. But now I got to go see what I can add to a 27 or 26 second and get Michael Pittman. And I saw the one, where was it? From Geist. I got Pittman and Waddle for first and a second week one in a 16-teamer. Well, you're probably pretty happy with that, especially if you're a contender. And more often than not, like these larger leagues, 14, 16 team leagues, I find myself, especially if I feel like I'm contending, far more willing to move off of my picks earlier, because we always talk about it. There's less variance in those larger leagues than there are in a 10 or 12 team league.
Let's wrap it up. I was just going to say real quick, that offer that you sent me in the league, you'll know the one I'm talking about. If you're going to come after my Gibbs, sorry, that's going to be the counter. It's just between you and I. You're going to have to pay a lot more for Gibbs.
Wait, what did I offer? You can share it.
I said Geist.
Not
you, Geist. Because we're just talking about it. Yep.
Geist better pay up. Listen, Geist, don't even try.
If you want Gibbs, you're going to pay up. That's just how
you're paying for your entire roster.
Yes.
Maybe you're left not. I don't know. Like you got to pay up.
There's a heavy Detroit Lions fan premium there for sure.
I want both. Yep.
201 in Hyatt. Give me Pittman.
Smash Pittman.
Yeah.
Hyatt's not even on my roster.
And that 26 class, well, we'll see how it shakes up, but things haven't looked that splendid as we work through here. All right, wrap it up. I don't want to spend too much time on this gentleman. I know Ty, they did an entire episode on the DD Fantasy Football channel on the All Gas Trade Show centered around Oronde Gadsden. Oh my Gadsden. But Oronde Gadsden, tight end 7 overall. Dan, do I got to bring up I wish I had a clip cut. We were debating. This went on longer than it should have, but I think it was in April. We were debating who our tight end 5 was in the class. And I was talking up Oronde, and you were like, I even called out. I said, he's got the genes. You know, his dad played in the NFL, and you said, those aren't the genes I want. I want the guy, like I want the Marv. I want the guys who were their dad was a stud.
I was definitely being too picky about the genes. Way too picky. That's fair, JB. I want to ask you
both. I want to ask you both a question on him. So, talking about John's tiers in the tight ends, he has Brock Bowers tier of his own, Trey McBride tier of his own, Tyler Warren tier of his own, then Sam Laporta, Tucker Kraft. So we definitely have like a good solid top 5 tight ends right now that I think we could all agree on. If Gadsden has one more week, right now he is in a tier of Kittle, Pitts, Fannin, Kincaid, Ferguson. If Gadsden has one more game in the next 2 weeks, let's just say next week he goes 3 for 20 or whatever, but then he has another huge blow up game in 2 weeks. Does he move up?
I think he's right with Laporta then.
I think he moves over Laporta, to be honest. Like, as a Lions fan, it's really hard to have Laporta up that high because he's not having those Gadsden games right now.
It's that ceiling has been incredible. 7 for 68, 7 for 164 and a touchdown, 5 for 77 and a touchdown. Whereas I talked about with Michael Pittman, Oronde Gadsden over it's 3 weeks, but see, and that's a lot of people, including T. Sanford, saying he should be above those guys. And I think a lot of people already feel that way. So while on Dynasty Daddy, he's tight end 7, Fantasy Calc, he's tight end. Where was he?
Just 7.
Tight end 7. Like, yeah. I think it's going to catch up a little bit in some of these trades. I moved a share of Gadsden with Jay from the DD Fantasy Football Discord community, and I got to pull up what the exact trade was. I can't remember. It was just like 2 days ago. But like Gadsden, last 3 weeks, 78% route participation, 18% target share, 34% of his team's receiving yards, only behind Harold Fannin at 36%. 2.94 yards per out run, only behind Kraft and Kelsey. And he's not propped up by the touchdowns. It's not like he's got 4 touchdowns over those 3 weeks. He has 2. Only behind McBride, Ertz, and Kraft in terms of first read percentage over those last 3 weeks. He's not getting the easy manufactured touches. He's being used as a wide receiver. Only 38% of his routes are coming from inline. So he really is playing a wide receiver, and you get the tight end designation. In 1.75 PPR, he's over 25 points per game over his last 3. It's a small sample size, and I'm always a little bit cautious, even with players I like. And like, I'm at 20% of Gadsden. If I had picks available in the later on in the drafts, I was scooping him up in a lot of situations. I saw somebody put a comment. I can't believe I got him at 504. Monkey, I paid $13 fab after our rookie draft, but like, I'm always a little cautious when these guys have these meteoric rises.
It's hard because like my first thought is no, you shouldn't pay a 26 first for him. It's been 3 great games, but we've seen over the course of time that like these things happen and then the guys die off. But you look at the offense and it's like, it's an offense I want to buy into. I mean, I was all about Ladd McConkey, and he's been fine the last couple of weeks, but not great. Keenan Allen, we know he's not going to be there for that long.
Ladd's getting back there.
He is. Quentin Johnston's going back to who we thought he was to begin the season. And so I have a really hard time telling people not to buy into Gadsden for the first, because I just think in a tight end premium league, it is so hard to get guys like this who produce like this weekly, and he's done it the last 3 weeks. I saw John throw, I don't know what that was, a tissue. His
version.
Well, what did I do wrong, John? What did I do wrong?
No. That was about Quentin Johnston.
Oh, okay.
That's son of a bitch. I was like,
wait, did he actually do well? I thought he had like 0 catches last game.
He had nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
He ran a lot of.
You
wins
gotta
for
love
us.
looking after a Thursday night game and you have a goose egg in your lineup.
Yeah.
All right, so let's rattle through some trades again for more trade discussion centered around Gadsden. Go check out the All Gas Trade Show from this past week. Again, the guys there do a fantastic job. But let's see, Gadsden for the 26th first. This is a 0.5 point premium, 12-team start 11. Dan,
Not a 0.5 point premium. I saw him going a full 2 point tight end premium this week for a first in my league, and that was a little sticker shock that even there for me. So I'm going to take the first.
Yeah, I agree with Dan.
there were a lot of people, and again, like there's so many of these assets in this range where it's like I don't want to move that first. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but there were so many people in the Discord. Again, patreon.com/allgas. Come check it out. But so many people in the Discord saying, I want to allocate my assets differently and instead of targeting a tight end. And that's when roster construction comes into play, the more overarching strategy perspective here. Where do you want to spend that money? And a lot of people, they don't want to do it at tight end. Let's see here. 12 team start 10, full PPR, Superflex, 0.5 point tight end premium, Trevor Lawrence or Gadsden. And
Did you say, is that 0.5 premium?
Oh, sorry. My big ass head
You're
there.
good.
Yes.
It's Trevor
So
Lawrence.
Gadsden, DK, and 27 fourth.
Yeah, I like T-Law just because of the value of the position and knowing how most of our dynasty rosters are set up. You probably need Lawrence.
Agreed.
DK's rising a little bit, but not enough to want me to trade a starting quarterback.
And if you are listening on the podcast feed, not DK Metcalf. Just to clarify, DK out there in Tennessee. No tight end premium. Dan Gadsden or Brashard Smith and Matthew Golden?
No tight end premium. I'm going to go Golden and Brashard Smith.
I'm going Gadsden because, like, it's hard to start those other two, and I can at least start Gadsden. Even in a non-premium, he's still like one of the top 5 starts every week now until we see otherwise.
I think the future's bright for Golden, and Brashard's showing some flashes.
There's no future for Golden. I will stand by that one.
Got another first there.
Keep my
Got
challenge
another
flag in my
first, and they're
pocket.
getting Darren Waller too. A 28 first and a 26 second. No tight end premium.
Yeah, see, in no premium, no, that's just not going to happen.
Kyle Pitts in a second or Oronde Gadsden, 0.75 tight end premium.
Gadsden.
I like Gadsden. I'd rather him as my future starting tight end than Pitts.
Pitts has been fine, and that's the thing I
been better.
talked about this past offseason with Pitts. Pitts is going to be a top 12-ish tight end every single year. It's just, is he ever going to be a top 5 guy? I don't think he has it in him, and maybe Gadsden does.
2 PPR for tight ends. Let's say PPR otherwise. Just straight up. Gadsden or Travis Hunter?
Oh, Gadsden.
Travis Hunter.
Gadsden or AJ Brown?
Oh. Dan?
He says it's 2 point premium.
Yep. PPR for wide receivers, 2 PPR for tight ends.
If I need to fix my tight end position, I'm going to go with the youth and roll the dice on Gadsden.
Yep. Same.
T. Higgins.
Gadsden.
I'll go Gadsden. It's close. So close, though.
Jordan
Roster
Addison.
dependent.
Gadsden.
A little bit easier, Gadsden.
Do running back.
Gadsden
You're going to have to go well above the DeAndre Swift here, though.
or Kyron Williams?
Oh, see, that one's fun.
Kyron.
Yeah, I think I'm Kyron there. But, I mean, that one is extremely close.
I think I do need to move up Gadsden a little bit more because as we're talking through these,
I think he has to be in his own tier, just as of right now.
Gadsden or Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Gadsden, 12-team Superflex, start 10, full PPR, 2 PPR, John Paul. Gadsden for Skattebo. So 12-team, start 10, full PPR, 2 PPR for tight ends. 2026 107 or Gadsden.
You said 2-point premium?
Mm-hmm.
Gadsden.
Yeah, go Gadsden. I mean, that was the range last year. We were looking at
last-
Warren and Loveland, right?
One last comment on him, but I want it from Dan. What are you willing to add to Loveland to get to Gadsden?
Oh, this is so painful because I love Loveland.
Same league settings that we were just talking about.
Add to Loveland to get Gadsden.
Because you're going to have to add.
Yeah. I feel like I'm defeated, saying this because I'm not giving up on Loveland. I'm still trying to buy, and people still don't want to sell. They're still kind of holding tight. But I'd give a second.
Okay.
Based
So
on what we're seeing.
Would you take Loveland in a second for your Gadsden, John?
No.
Oh God, that's so painful. Leave it.
Because listen, one of those situations where it's like Gadsden he's producing and he's somebody you want from a dynasty perspective. It's not like he's producing, but he's old. You're getting the best of both worlds there.
He's everything you want Loveland to be. He's just not.
Big difference between Justin Herbert and Caleb Williams right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, little overtime tonight, but hopefully you all enjoyed this week's episode of Dynasty Theory. Again, it would help us out. Hit the like button. It's right down there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. A lot of great stuff over at DD Fantasy Football. And then check out the Patreon, patreon.com/allgas. Conversations going 24/7. And you get to interact with us even more so than you do just the 1 hour a week. So come on over. For Mitch Sorensen, Dan Lamagna, I'm John Bauer. We'll catch everybody next week. Peace.